Right now on Hoosier News Source, IU offers pre-departure testing before students leave for the holidays. And we hear the latest on early voting in Monroe County.
And I have a cold front on Friday, dropping temperatures as well as storm chances for the weekend. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier News Source. I'm Klare. Over the weekend, the university lost another student. IU Acacia fraternity member Skylar Bradley died Friday evening due to a gunshot wound. Bradley was visiting friends at the University of Alabama when he tried to break up an altercation between his friends and another group. He was then shot, according to a close family friend. A friend started a GoFundMe page to assist his family with the medical bills. Everyone at IUS TV News sends condolences to the Bradley family and IU community. We will provide you with the latest updates surrounding the story. We begin Hoosier News Source with the latest COVID-19 updates. Hoosier News Source reporter Andrew Lamparski joins us now with the university's new numbers. Andrew?
Thanks, Carly. While the rest of Indiana continues its record-breaking COVID surge, IU Bloomington is seeing its lowest numbers to date. Just 64 out of over 9,000 mitigation tests were positive last week. That's a positivity rate of just 0.7%, the first time we've dipped below 1%. If you look at housing, Greek houses dropped just a little bit to 1.3%. Residence halls cut their numbers nearly in half, 0.6% from 1.1% last week. And off-campus, just 0.5% were positive. Another big change we've seen is in quarantine and isolation housing here at Ashton. It's at just 6.4% of capacity, which is the lowest we've seen since the university started reporting numbers back in August. But the next big challenge for the university is sending students home safely. Thanksgiving break officially begins on November 22nd, and students will have the chance to get tested before they leave. On Sunday, November 16th, random mitigation testing will stop and locations will be opened up for students opting to get tested before leaving campus. The process will be similar to mitigation testing, and an appointment must be made to receive a test. This will provide students the chance to safely return to their communities and families.
We're going to open up, say, thousands of slots Sunday through Thursday. Let people sign up whenever they like. They can get tested. Hopefully results will be back in 24 hours, maybe 48 hours tops, depending how things are going. And then we can tell them, whether or not they're negative or positive.
We should expect to see some more detailed information from the university on how to sign up in the coming weeks. And that's all for this week's Campus COVID Update. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Andrew Lamparski. Carly, back to you.
Thanks, Andrew. From the 33 Greek life houses on quarantine just a few weeks ago, only one house remains. Delta Phi Epsilon was directed to quarantine this past Friday until October 30th. With Greek houses having a current overall positivity rate of less than 1%, Monroe County approved an appeal made by the fraternity Theta Chi to allow 80% capacity within the house. This will be the first house allowed to operate over the previous capacity regulation of 75%. For more updates on Greek life and COVID, visit studentaffairs.indiana.edu. We are now just 2 weeks away from Election Day. On November 3rd, millions of Hoosiers will cast their ballots in the general election, but how will they do it during a pandemic? Hoosier News Source reporter Andrew Lamparski has more on how early voting can keep voters safe.
Even on a cold, rainy Monday morning, voters wrapped around the block to get to Election Central. People came ready to vote and ready to wait.
We were prepared to be in line for longer than we were.
One voter even came with a chair.
I've been following the reports of the wait in line for a couple of weeks on Reddit, and everyone has been reporting between 1 hour and 90 minutes.
But Monroe County Clerk Nicole Brown says early voting is the best way to cut down on Election Day traffic.
Our IU students who are registered in Monroe County can also take advantage of early voting and come and vote at Election Central so that those lines are fewer on Election Day, and we would certainly encourage them to do so.
She also says it's the best way to keep Election Day safe for everyone.
People who vote early, who are healthy enough to vote early, that cuts down on the number of people who are going to vote on Election Day, which allows for more social distancing.
Even through the rain and cold, voters made the most of their morning in line.
We, caught up on emails and had some conversations, and everyone was really good about spacing apart, so it was not so bad.
A line like this one could be a sign that October weather, or even a pandemic, won't stop Monroe County residents from showing up to the polls in full force. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Andrew Lamparski.
Election Central on 7th Street will offer early voting up until Monday, November 2nd. And if you're planning on mailing in your vote, the deadline to request a ballot is this Thursday. With all the coverage surrounding the presidential election, you may have forgotten about the many local elections taking place this year as well. Hoosier News Source reporter Julia Losetter sat down with one candidate looking to make a difference in Bloomington.
This week, I had the opportunity to sit down with Shelley Yoder, the Democratic nominee for the Indiana State Senate in District 40, and hear about the specifics of her campaign platforms, as well as why she decided to run for public office.
I am a Democrat, and we only have 10 Democrats serving us in the state Senate, and only 2 are women. So that was the second thing that I said, we need to have parity in our representation.
A lecturer at the Kelley School of Business at IU, Miss Yoder shared with me how she felt her business skills were an asset to this position.
As somebody who has based her entire career off of building relationships, because really that's what business is. And serving in the legislature is going to be about relationships. And it's going to take some real relationship building to get things done for District 40, but really for Hoosiers.
Some of the initiatives that Ms. Yoder outlined as her main priorities include ending gun violence, ensuring equity for our neighbors, improving public health and wellness, fighting to protect our environment, protecting reproductive justice, and growing our economy inclusively.
A strong Indiana economy is one that everyone is engaged. And so we absolutely need to be thinking about how do we grow the economy inclusively. And this global pandemic has broken down the infrastructure of healthcare, of public education, and what we see in terms of the role that our teachers and our public schools play in the overall infrastructure of, yes, we heard a lot about the economy, but just in the well-being of Hoosiers is critical.
Ms. Yoder also commented on how the state of the nation has changed since she last ran for election in 2016.
I definitely see that it feels more divisive, but many, many more people have come to make sure, come to fight to make sure that we don't have another November 8th, 2016. I want people, when they get into that booth and they mark that box by Shelley Yoder, to know that I'm going to listen to them and fight for them in the State House.
For Hoosier News Source, I'm Julia Lostetter.
For more information on where and how to vote in Bloomington, visit co.monroe.in.us and make sure to cast your ballot before the end of November 3rd. Students on campus are also getting involved with the upcoming election by attending watch parties and helping other students register to vote. We spoke to a few students on their thoughts for the upcoming election. Take a look.
As Election Day gets closer, students on campus are becoming more vocal about their political views through social media and groups around IU. For the majority of students, this will be their first time experiencing the presidential election through the perspective of being a voter. With more than 20 million votes already being cast, around 5 times more than the amount of votes cast at this time in 2016, people appear to be more political, especially around college campuses. According to a poll on niche.com, 42% of IU students consider themselves to be Democratic, while only 12% say that they're Republican. Being on such a liberal campus, Press Secretary of College Republicans at Indiana University, Brett Abbott, says that this election season has been especially concerning.
The climate's starting to get a little dangerous for our democracy when these issues that have support from about 50% of the population can't be talked about in an open and free way.
Abbott believes a lot of hostility in the political climate has to do with President Donald Trump, even though some Republicans don't like him.
I know, me personally and many of my friends, we're right there in that we don't like Trump's personality. We don't think he's a good person. We don't vote for him because of who he is. We vote for him because of the policy initiatives that he's introduced.
On the other side of the political spectrum, IU student Nicholas Kalesa is an outspoken Democrat who says that as a Democrat, he has noticed a stigma around the left-leaning side as well.
A misconception is that people that are on the left, like I am, are all for socialism, all for communism, all for the government should run everything, when honestly, I personally disagree with that. I think there's this misconception that everyone has to be an extremist, either on the left or the right, when I think most people are moderates.
Both Abbott and Kalesa believe that it's important to cross party lines to create an opportunity for new ideas and encourage all students to keep that in mind as they head to the polls November 3rd. With IUS TV, this is Catherine Patterson.
And if you don't know where to vote, visit your local county election commission's website. Coming up on Hoosier News Source, we learn about the Rainbow Coalition and their recent rally, and Caroline Klare joins us with this week's forecast. Welcome back to Hoosier News Source. Caroline Klare has the latest on this week's weather. Caroline?
Thanks, Carly. Storms may be headed our way this weekend. As you can see, with a low pressure system just to the northeast of Indiana coming through on Friday afternoon, bringing with it a drop in temperatures and storm chances for Friday. As you can see, with some more severe storms just to the north of us in Michigan, we will still have some chances of storms here in Bloomington. Let's take a look at how the day will pan out. In the morning, not much happening, just a little overcast, 65, just a small chance of precipitation. But as we go into the afternoon, winds will be picking up and precip chances will be increasing as well. At 2 p.m., 74 and 50% chance of rain with our winds at 12 miles per hour. And as we go into the afternoon, you can see where the cold front has passed and the temperature drop almost at 10 degrees less than it was at 2 p.m., 63 degrees and a 60% of storms at that time. Temperatures will stay low through the remainder of the weekend after we get past a warm Wednesday and Thursday going into the weekend. 76 going down to 57 starting off our weekend. After the storms on Friday, just slightly cloudy over the weekend, but as we go back into early next week, rain chances will come back. Make sure to stay dry this week and have a great week. Carly, back to you.
Thanks, Caroline. IUSG held their first live virtual office hours this past week. The president, vice president, and IUSG chief of staff answer questions from students and address what they are currently working on. The executive team discussed their COVID response plans and their suggestions for who should replace David Starr Jordan's name around campus.
One of the names that Rachel and I have advocated for strongly is Thomas Atkins. He was the first Black student body president at IU Bloomington. Went on to be a part of Harvard Law, was a Boston City Councilor while he was at Harvard Law, which was quite the amazing feat.
Thomas Atkins was also the first Black student body president in the Big Ten. IUSG plans to hold another live virtual office hours via Twitter this Thursday. A large group of students didn't attend IUSG's office hours because instead they started the Rainbow Coalition. They wanted their demands to be heard at their Unite to Ignite rally. Our Hoosier News Source reporter Sasha Sears heard from members of the coalition there.
Today, I know a lot of people know me from different organizations that I'm a part of, but today I'm talking as a student to students. I'm still going to do a call to action so I can hear what your needs are, and the Rainbow Coalition wants to do that as well.
The Rainbow Coalition had a protest last Friday against IUSG student government, demanding more transparency and for misrepresented voices to have more voting power this semester and moving forward.
Because IUSG is here built for the students, by the students, and it should represent the whole student body. And that's what we're here to represent, that's what we're here to push for, and that's what we're here to fight for. This is just a stepping stone. We're just getting started in this, and we're really hopeful to keep pushing this and move forward.
The coalition is made up from 30 different multicultural organizations. The students at the protests address inequities and try to develop change on behalf of all students here at IU.
They need to keep on listening, because as we heard with all these stories, we're not getting the attention that we need, and we need to continue doing that. And outside of that, we need to speak our voices in the polls as well.
For this being the first major event for the Rainbow Coalition, expect much more to come later on this year. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Sasha Sears.
To learn more about the Rainbow Coalition, visit their Instagram page at Rainbow Coalition IU. Hoosier News Source reporter Bridget Taylor joins us in studio with an update on spring semester classes. Bridget?
Thanks, Carly. The Office of the Registrar recently released courses available in the spring semester, but how many of those will be in person? Spring semester will be a mix of in-person and virtual classes similar to the amount we have now, but with hopes of having a more in-person class. The university's attempt to keep COVID rates down by limiting students per classroom and having a majority of online classes has proven to be successful and something the university continues to have in place this spring.
I think that we can expect to see online in the spring. Again, those percentages we'll wait and see and try to make sure that we get people the in-person experience as much as possible.
For more information on spring classes, head to registrar.indiana.edu. Carly, back to you.
Thanks, Bridget. Now to hear all about IU sports, Lexi Vennetti has the latest. Lexi?
Thanks, Carly. We have another IU athlete on for This or That. Volleyball freshman Tommi Stockham talked about her pregame ritual and more. Check it out.
Would you rather watch TV or movies?
TV.
And going off of that, what would be your favorite TV show?
I love The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. It's my favorite.
Did you watch last night?
Yep.
What are your thoughts on the show from yesterday?
I think it's going to be interesting. There was drama on night one, so I'm sure this is just going to keep spiraling. So it should be interesting. Me and all my roommates were watching last night.
What is your favorite season on The Bachelor?
I really like Colton's season or Hannah Brown's. I think those two are my favorite for sure.
Awesome. And on social media aspect, do you prefer Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram, for sure.
Why is that?
I've never really been super social on Twitter. I've only mainly used Instagram for everything, so I would just have to pick that one just because I'm more familiar with it.
Do you like fall or spring better?
I'd say fall. I think it's so pretty when all the leaves change and everything just looks like magical here, especially here, like right now, it's incredible.
And do you think that Sample Gates or Arboretum is better?
I really like Sample Gates. I feel like it's just such a wow type of area.
And do you prefer cardio or weight training?
Depends on the day, but I would say cardio.
And do you like Gatorade or Powerade better?
Gatorade.
Do you have a favorite flavor?
Red or blue would have to be my favorite. During practice, I like blue more, but if I'm not practicing, I like red.
Very specific, I like it. And do you like dogs or cats better?
Dogs. I'm allergic to cats, unfortunately.
Do you have any dogs?
I have two.
Wow.
Yes.
All right, Pizza X or Mother Bears?
I've never tried Pizza X, but I have been to Mother Bears and it was really good. I'll have to try Pizza X.
That's on your agenda. I mean, I personally think Mother Bears is better, but it's still one of the ones that you have to try.
Yeah, Mother Bears was so good.
Go-to quarantine activity?
Me and one of my old high school teammates would run. There's like this huge hill by my house and it was like super steep in grass and we would run that like 20 times every day. So I'd say that was probably my go-to for sure.
Do you like to run a lot?
I don't really like long distance running, but I don't mind like incline or sprints and stuff like that.
Would you consider yourself a morning bird or night owl?
Probably more night owl. It's really hard for me to get up in the mornings, but I guess it just depends on like what I'm getting up for.
What's been your favorite memory so far here at IU?
Oh gosh, I've had a ton. My favorite memory would probably be honestly the first day of practice with coaches. It was like so surreal that like we've been talking about coming here for so long and then we were like, oh my gosh, it's real now. So that has been really fun. Just all the moments that I've spent with all the girls has definitely been top 2 easily.
Do you have any pre-game rituals?
I have this weird superstition. I don't drink soda, but before every game, I like to drink like, it has to be 3 to 5 sips of Diet Mountain Dew, which is so random. I like don't even like soda, but that has been my like go-to ritual before a game.
And IU football kicks off this Saturday at 3:30 against Penn State. We'll keep you updated, Hoosiers. Carly, back to you.
Thanks, Lexi, and thank you for watching this week's episode of Hoosier News Source. To learn more about this week's story, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at IUS TV News. I'm Carly Rasmussen from Bloomington, Indiana. We'll see you next time.